And we are live. Welcome to the NBA Strategy Show. It is Thursday, May 30th. We've got Game 5, Dallas Mavericks, 4.5-point underdogs in Minnesota, 209 total. Minnesota looking to stave off the end of their season once again, heading home, trying to get it to 3-2. Heading back to Dallas at that point. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. What's good, everybody? Good morning. We've got some basketball back today. If Minnesota wins today, we get basketball on Saturday. If Minnesota loses today, we don't have basketball until Thursday of next week. That would be 7 days. So I'm intrigued by this. I think Dallas rolls into Minnesota today and ends the series. That's my expectation. If I were betting this game, I would take the points. But who knows? Who knows? Alrighty, folks. Hope you guys had a good day off yesterday with no basketball coverage. It was nice to take a little bit of a break. Ish. Well, let's break down this one. We're going to go until we can't. There's only so much that we could say at this point. Remember, this is Game 5. And we have a massive piece of news hanging in the balance that really limits how much we can feel confident about what we're doing here. Derek Lively is questionable today with that neck sprain. We have no idea if this dude is going to play tonight, if he's going to try to play tonight. So we're going with the assumption that Derek Lively is in, but we do not know that yet. So let's break it down. Shall we? We shall. This is the results of my first sim. I also have the results of the first stochastic sim. So we've got a lot that we can dig into. We're going to start at the captain spot. My most exposed captains right now fly in the face of what I want to happen today, which is Dallas winning. Karl Anthony Towns, 27% exposed at the captain. He's 9% owned at the captain spot. We're projecting around 18 to Luka, around 18 to Anthony Edwards, and then around 10 for Kyrie, for Towns, for Gobert. Towns and Gobert are the guys that I'm taking the stand on. I'm hoping that Karl Anthony Towns can keep himself, in this instance, I'm hoping that Karl Anthony Towns can keep himself out of foul trouble. And I'm hoping that the shot can just start to fall. More like the second half of, what was it, Game 4. Because the first half, Towns was dreadful. Again, started to be able to score a little bit more in the second half. But as we look just at the playoffs right now, the rates have gone up. 36% from the field, 26% from three for Towns. I mean, we're talking about a guy that should be much higher than that. If the shot is falling the way that it can, I'm interested in Karl Anthony Towns in the captain spot. Now, for Gobert, 12% owned. I've got 22. And I tend to under-project Rudy Gobert. And I think that's where it starts to look a little bit more interesting, is that I'm usually light on Gobert. And if I'm getting to him today, there must be some sort of value that's sneaking out. This is all a foul trouble thing, too. If he stays out of foul trouble, you're probably getting 36, 37 minutes out of Rudy Gobert. If the defensive stats can be there, that's how you can get a real outlier game out of Gobert. So right now, they're the two guys that I'm getting to the most at the captain spot. Then I'm neutral to Anthony Edwards. I'm a little over on Kyrie. I'm a little under on Luka. But you can see right away, this is a very different setup than what I had for Game 4, where I was getting to Derek Jones Jr. captain lineups, PJ Washington captain lineups. Now, I'm not seeing it the same way. I'm having a lot less trouble just getting up to the top of these best dudes. What do you guys want to do at captain today? Who are your preferred captain options for today's slate? As I hop over to Stochastic, the guy that we got the most at the captain spot was Luka. Ant is second, Kyrie is third, and then Mike Conley is the guy that got into fourth for double digits. We see Towns only at 4%. We see Rudy only at 8%. So I'm still a little bit different, but very similar for Luka, Ant, and Kyrie. It's just the stochastic projections are not as on Rudy Gobert and Towns as I am. But Towns, second best sim player ROI, which I think is interesting. Does Lively's defense make a difference? It makes a massive difference. Massive, massive, massive. And I'll show you why. I tweeted this out just before the start of game 4. So with this was heading into game 4. Lively on 320 minutes, 122 offensive rating, 106 defensive rating. Gafford on 320 minutes, 110 offensive rating, 116 defensive rating. The offense in the playoffs has been way better with Lively on. The defense has been way better with Lively on. Now that Maxi's back, with Lively being on, with Lively potentially being back, the minutes at center become really weird. Someone's going to get cut, and I don't think it's Maxi, and I don't think it's Lively. Ricky likes Ant. Pierre was liking Luka. Jesus liking Conley. Yeah, Conley's been a bit of a revelation. He's a guy that I have a lot of trouble getting to, but they seem to be willing to let him get his. But yeah, I don't really see any like extra sneaky. I mean, honestly, if Karl Anthony Towns is 9% owned and everybody else is north of 10, like Towns does look like the sneakiest captain. Just based on that ownership number. But I don't like the only guy that I got to is Derek Jones Jr. One random share of PJ Washington. But we need to hash out whether or not Lively plays, because that changes everything. Anything else you guys want to touch on at the captain spot? I want you guys to touch on this, and you see it on the top of the screen already. Now it's on the screen twice. The promo code is Mookie. NBA is almost done. We have whatever's left in the finals and whatever's left in this series. We could have 5 games left. We could have 8. No, sorry. 1, 2, 3. We could have upwards of 10 or 5. 5 to 10 games left in the NBA season, which means baseball is here. We want you guys to sign up for our baseball package. You see at the top of the standings, you see the Stochastic Hall of Fame, Tom, Eddie, DeColts. You see friend of the program, Sean Jeezy, at the top of every MLB mini-max every single day. They're using the Sims tools, guys. You can get it for 50% off your first monthly payment. 50% off. You get projections, ownership, top stacks, top pitchers, all of the simulation tools, the lineup generator, the contest generator. You get in for premium Discord. This is a hell of a deal, guys. There's a link in the description for you to sign up. If you've been looking to check out some of our products, if you're interested in baseball, now that the NBA is coming to a close, this is the promo code for you. Come in for a month. You get basically, you sign up right now, you're basically getting all of June. What a great time to have an MLB package straight through the summer with nothing else going on. So we would like you guys to come hang out with us by using the promo code Mookie. Link in the description of this video if you want to make it easy. All right. Let's take a look at the utility spot. Looking a little bit different for me. So look at how flat, once again, this utility ownership is. Little over 40, little over 40, little under 40, little under 40, little under 40. Mid-30s, mid-30s. close to 30, 25, 30, 30, 30, 25, 25. I mean, we are just jam-packed here. But I have some big old stands. And I think we could just start now based on the current ownership. I don't think it's possible for this to hold. Maxi Kleber is not going to be 3% owned. We have 30 to Gafford, 20 to Lively, 3 to Maxi. I shouldn't have to tell any of you guys that Maxi Kleber is the best option there by a mile, by a billion miles. That value number is going to come up. Jaden Hardy, meanwhile, is at 25%. If Lively plays, I understand that Jaden Hardy is playing a different position. The minutes have been there for him. What did Jaden Hardy play this last time out? Hardy played 12 minutes last time out. We got to remember, with Maxi Kleber back, we're shaving minutes somewhere. And we don't know where that's going to come from. But it does make me nervous about Jaden Hardy. It makes me nervous about Josh Green. It makes me nervous about the full minutes upside of Derek Jones Jr., of PJ Washington. Like, the trickle-down effect here is massive. Guys, Maxi Kleber is 22. He's $200 above the minimum. No, I'm not concerned with his shoulder. We're not talking about a guy that has to go out there and score 30 fantasy points to justify it. Guys can get rebounds, assists, steals, blocks. As a value option, you got to pay down to somebody. If they're going to cut Josh Green's minutes potentially because Maxi's back, if they're going to cut Jaden Hardy because he's Jaden Hardy, and they lean more on Kyrie and Luka potentially, who else do you want to pay down for? We got to stop acting like we think that Maxi Kleber is going to go out there and have 15 shot attempts if his shoulder doesn't hurt. He's going to have 3, 4. I mean, I don't want to say that PJ Washington's minutes will get cut. They can just play, instead of having to play him 40, they can play him 36 now. He's not going anywhere in terms of bulk minutes, but 1 or 2 can now be moved around. Now, this all is based on the assumption that Derek Lively is playing, and you get all of this weirdness. Because, chat doesn't seem to be loving this Maxi thing. You can't not like Maxi if he's actually 3% owned. And that's the basis of this conversation. If Maxi's 3% and all those other guys are 25, I'm not even willing to have a conversation about Maxi not being a good play. The ownership alone would be key. Do I think he's going to be 3? No, probably not. I think that's going to be higher. And obviously it's going to change whether or not Lively plays. If Lively's out, Gafford becomes more popular and Maxi becomes more popular. Now, if Lively plays, I don't really know how you get to Lively or Gafford. One of them is live to play, get it? Significantly less minutes. We don't know how well Lively will take to any sort of contact. It could be an OG Anunoby situation where he plays for a couple minutes and then they find out he just cannot continue. So I find the Gafford Lively piece very difficult if Lively is in. I like Maxi no matter what because of the price, but the ownership will tell that entire story. Jesus says he likes Nickeil Alexander-Walker today. They have not been enjoying his minutes, and I think he's losing out to Kyle Anderson now. So I'd be very nervous about Nickeil Alexander-Walker. I have him, but he's got some downside. If Mike Conley's playing 33 or 34 minutes and things are going better with Anderson out there, I think Nickeil Alexander-Walker is the guy that kind of takes the haircut. But for most of these guys, I've got a pretty decent stand on Anthony Edwards. I've got a pretty decent stand on Kyrie, but nothing too crazy. This is at the utility, mind you. I'm getting to Conley finally. I'm getting to PJ Washington. I continue to get to Jaden McDaniels. I have Slow-Mo. I have Derek Jones Jr. I'm light on Naz Reid. you can see right now, I didn't get a single share of Gafford or Lively based on the way they're projected. Because I am very, very, very dubious of the minutes today. What are you guys liking at utility? Where do you guys land at utility today? Antoine says, limit your Mavs exposure in this game. Well, if it helps, I have done that. 350% of my exposure is Minnesota, 250 to Dallas. And obviously, like, you're going to get a lot of Luka and Kyrie in combinations. So, but yeah, I 3.5 to 2.5 for me on Minnesota. Let's see what stochastic sims are cooking up at the flex spot. Karl Anthony Towns at the top of the list in exposure. Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert not too far behind. Now, we got a lot of Derek Lively. I obviously don't see it the same way right now. Maybe that changes. I'm a little nervous about his projection. I just don't. We have no confidence. We have absolutely no confidence in Lively right now. What do you guys like? When you're seeing the exposures on the screen right now in the stochastic sims, what do you guys like? That's what I'm curious about. Top ROI lineup? Yeah, we'll get to that. Steven, yes, I do buy into that. Like, it has been shown that bench guys tend to play better at home, but like, I don't think that's super actionable. I wouldn't just like pick it just because of that. But bench players do tend to play better at home. But we're talking about like, you adjust somebody's projection from, let's say somebody's projected for 20. Maybe that's enough to move it to like, and this is probably even too extreme, 20.5, 19.5 on the road, something like that. Josh, do the Mavs like Jones Jr. or Gafford more? Jones Jr. by far. Jones Jr. by far. I don't really see anything in our exposures that's like really weird. We don't have it like Jaden Hardy got to 28%. I guess I do think that's a little bit higher than I would want. Because he's not really somebody that I'm getting to. But that's a lot of that has to do with Maxi. Yeah, like, look, do I think that Maxi Kleber looked good in game 4? No, not really. Like, he clearly has an issue with his shot. He's $200 above the minimum. Like, you don't, and he's not a guy known for scoring. We're talking about a guy that normally has like a 10% usage anyway. I'll take my chances on the rickety shot for his 3 shot attempts. Can McDaniels bounce back at home? I hope so. I hope so. He's usually somebody that I'm over the field on. A lot of it just comes down to whether or not he stays out of foul trouble. Another thing for Maxi is so much of it depends on how good Luka Doncic and Anthony Edwards play. Because if Luka Doncic and Anthony Edwards both have really big games, you can take a little bit less out of Maxi Kleber if you just need that salary savings. Like, if Josh Green's minutes are a little bit lighter than you expected and Jaden Hardy just doesn't have a very good game in 9 to 10 minutes, it might not matter all that much for Maxi if Luka and Edwards have scores that are necessities, and then you're spending, $24,000 on 2 dudes. I mean, it's 25-8 for Luka and Ant at the utility spot. You know, if you have, let's say you go to Count, or let's say you have Rudy Gobert at captain at that point in time, that's 37-2. You have 12,800 left. It starts to make Maxey look a little bit more tenable. Biggest fade we had coming out of the stochastic sim was actually Luka at the flex at -15. What was the highest ranked lineup? That is Mike Conley at the captain spot, Daniel Gafford, Jaden Hardy, Kyrie Irving, Luka Doncic, Rudy Gobert. I'm assuming I don't have that in my model for myself, just based on the way that I normally have Mike Conley ranked. Did I get to that lineup? No, I didn't. Did not. My personal highest ranked. You guys tell me which lineup do you guys prefer? The highest ranked lineup in the stochastic sim is what I have on the screen right now. Mike Conley, Daniel Gafford, Jaden Hardy, Kyrie, Luka, Rudy Gobert. My highest ranked lineup for right now: Anthony Edwards captain, Kyle Anderson, Kyrie Irving, Towns, Gobert, Maxi Kleber. Again, I have Ant, Slow-Mo, Kyrie, Towns, Gobert, and Kleber. That's a no Luka lineup. That's my number one. What do you guys think? Let's see. Does that lineup exist? That's going to be hard to find. And where's lineups? Lineups. All right. Close that. Close that. We're going to go filters. Captain contains Edwards. And contains. Oh, we're not gonna have a Maxi lineup here. Yeah, Edwards. Oh, it's this top lineup right here. So I have this as my number one lineup: Edwards, Towns, Anderson, Irving, Maxi, Gobert. Not feeling the same way here in the stochastic sims, but the reason being, we have Maxi Kleber projected for 5 fantasy points. And this is going to come down to whatever we do later. I have Maxi Kleber projected for 10 fantasy points. That right there changes everything. I went 16 minutes to Maxi. Oh, sorry. We have Maxi projected for 3 fantasy points in 5 minutes. I have him in for 16 minutes. That's the differentiator here. And we have no idea what that's actually going to look like by the time we get to 8:30. What's my most common lineup stack configuration in terms of total players from each team? That's a good question. I don't know. I think I can get that information relatively quickly. Oh, by the way, before we move any further, schedule for the rest of the day. Laffy and Bellman today at noon for MLB early live before lock. Greg and Bellman today at 6 o'clock for regular MLB live before lock. Eric and I will be live for an hour or for a half hour at 8 p.m. for NBA live before lock. And then Greg and I will be hopping on to playback at 8:30. All right. Let's look at my lineups. Antoine Murphy, you think 10 fantasy points is pessimistic? Then you got to love this dude for today. All right, let's find out what my selected lineup splits are. What's the easiest way to do this? Oh, that's not the way. All right, perfect. Minnesota and Dallas. Almost there, folks. I just realized that I didn't have this set up in any way, so now we do. And it'll make it really easy to look at it for the rest of everything that we do. Marco, you like Gafford. That's scary, man. That is scary. Alrighty. Of the lineups that I have played right now, which is 40 lineups, we could take a look. Let's do this. Oh, stupid me. All right, here we go, guys. My combos. I have 6 of my 40 lineups. Have 5 Minnesota, 1 Dallas. 19 of the 40, so almost 50% of my lineups are 3 threes. 12 lineups are Minnesota 4, Dallas 2. Only 3 4 Dallas lineups. So I only have 3 lineups of the entire pack of 40 that I put together this morning that prioritize Dallas over Minnesota. Everything else is either Minnesota onslaughts or at least 4 twos. Interesting to see. Guys, do you have any other questions before we get out of here? Jack Adams, thanks for the question. That was helpful. Do you guys have anything else that you want to see before we dip on out of here? I guess I could sum it up with my team exposures here. So to start off the day, this is where we stand. Team by team. Most exposed guys from Minnesota. Ant over the field. Towns over the field. Gobert neutral. Conley neutral. McDaniels over. The guy that I'm fading from Minnesota appears to be Naz Reid. For Dallas, under on Luka, over Kyrie. Neutral PJ Washington, neutral Derek Jones, big stand Maxi Kleba. I don't have the centers as of right now. Derek Lively, that's not news. Yeah, Steven, that's the problem here. Like, I think Dallas wins. That's not what I'm getting in DFS. So those are the nights that I usually hate. But that is what we have to start the day. Folks, we are done here. Thank you for joining us. If Minnesota wins today, you will get some basketball coverage on Saturday, so keep your eyes peeled there. Otherwise, MLB is here. Use the promo code Mookie and get yourself 50% off your first monthly payment. Guys, enjoy everything. Let's watch some good basketball tonight, 8 p.m. NBA Live before lock, and then an hour exclusively on playback. It's been fun. I'll talk to you later.